try number two. Had some technical difficulties. Yay, internet. Um, so, thank you guys all so much for watching yesterday's video. Have almost 800 views. Holy shit. You guys are awesome. Keep liking and sharing. If you have entrepreneurs or business owners in your life, definitely share this series with them. Today is day 2. And today I'm going to be talking about employees, innovation, and how having a purpose to your business makes decision making so much easier. Just get this all set up. This is funny. Swipe left to reveal comments. Okay. So today I'm talking about employee motivation, innovation, and decision making, and how having a purpose in your business really streamlines all those things. And it's the second day of my web series. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about customers and communication strategies, and the next week I'll be talking about real practical strategies, how you can put purpose to use for you. Just going over the benefits, because there's so many benefits of it. Like, it's so cool. That's why I get so excited about it. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's interesting because it's actually really important to me, because I've definitely worked for companies that don't have many values or have like this low moral compass, and working for them it's draining and it's frustrating. There's really no room for inspired thought. Like, you go in, you do your job, you keep your head down. And I remember walking through factories in China, and it's literally people are clocking in, doing their daily quota, clocking out. And it's kind of like robotic. There's no joy. There's like no passion in employees and what they're doing. It's just kind of like this survival mode thing. And what I found, like, for me personally, like, making money for other people who aren't forwarding anyone but themselves, like, it just doesn't sit right with me. And it's interesting because company culture is definitely a buzzword nowadays. There's companies like Google, you know, they got free lunch, these really cool, like, work environments. But the reason they're successful, it goes so much further than these kind of surface level perks. Google's so successful because the people who work there really believe in what Google is selling. Like, the ideas of innovation and kind of democratizing the internet, and making all of this available. And that's why everyone wants to work there. That's why they're so successful, because they have this great company culture that goes beyond just kind of the surface level. And so that ties into what I'm talking about with purpose. Like, having a purpose at your company recruits really passionate people. Like, it's definitely no surprise that many of the businesses on the Fortune best companies to work for list are actually doing well really financially. You know, when people love to work there, they put forth their greatest effort. And the same is true with purpose. When people feel like they're working towards a common and a good goal, or like a social cause, productivity actually increases up to 30%. Some great examples of companies that have employees jumping on this purpose bandwagon. Apple. Like, you go into an Apple store, and the geniuses, they just look like they love their job. And you can tell that they love the company's products and the services, and that all ties into Apple's purpose. Like, Apple's purpose is, they say innovation is design. And you can tell the people working there support that, and give all of themselves in order to kind of further that cause. Another company is Zappos. Like Zappos has built its reputation on being a brand for customer service. So the employees know exactly what's expected of them. Like the company purpose creates this kind of manifesto about what the company is there to do. And so the employees have a lot easier time doing their jobs, and then they deliver great customer service. Whole Foods is another example. Like, it's been really cool. They've been in the news a lot recently. You see the whole takeover of Amazon. Like, people are taking notice. Whole Foods prides itself on their employee dedication, and just got a phone call. That's so funny. You know, Whole Foods' purpose, they say, is to provide choices for nurturing the body, community, and the planet. So you can see when companies integrate their purpose and get their employees on board, they're doing really well financially, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more tomorrow, the actual financial benefits of creating a purpose for your company. And then I have some examples of companies that you can tell they don't have a company purpose. They're not living in it. Their employees aren't dedicated to it. Like Wells Fargo with the whole credit card scam. Like management got into this really shady kind of business dealing, and that's the thing about purpose. It starts from the leaders down. Like it's a company decision. And I don't know anyone who wants to bank at Wells Fargo. So like, it's like, and then you have companies like Dillard's and GameStop, which I hadn't heard of Dillard's until I moved to New York, but it's even now both stores, like both companies have stores closing like hand over foot. There's a sharp decline in store counts. And a lot of that ties into the employees. They feel like the company culture doesn't support them. There's these impossible sales quotas, and the companies actually push sales over customer service. And this has led to a really high turnover and outright hostility with employees. And you can see that they're not being competitive in today's landscape. And my opinion, it's all because of their lack of purpose. They're all focused on the bottom dollar instead of actually improving lives and the communities around them. So back to the positives, like having a purpose draws passionate and energetic people into your brand. PGA, the PGA Golf Tour is actually a great example of this. The purpose of the business is charity, sportsmanship, and the integrity of the game of golf. And people are so excited and passionate about this that they actually get 75,000 volunteers, which saves them $26 million per year. Like, saving that much money just because people are passionate about your products and your services and the purpose you deliver, that's crazy. And they're able to donate over $100 million to charity every year. Like, those are the kind of results that you can get when your company has passionate and motivated people pushing for you to succeed. So if you're planning on hiring anytime soon, like, you gotta figure out your company's purpose. Stat. Like, today. Figure out your company's purpose. Because this is just going to get bigger and bigger. I talked about yesterday millennials being one of the driving forces. And millennials are going to be 75% of the workforce by 2025. These are the people that are pushing for this in business. And they're going to be 75% of the workforce. 6 out of 10 millennials say that their current job they chose because of sense of purpose. And 2/3 won't work for a company that doesn't have corporate social responsibility practices. Like, that's crazy. 2/3 of 3/4 of the workplace won't work for your company if you don't have these social responsibility practices in play by the time you're hiring. And up to 75% would take a pay cut. They'll take a pay cut to work for a company that's socially responsible and matches their values, which is crazy because 75% of them feel right now that businesses are only focused on their own agenda. So it's kind of this interesting attitude in the workplace that there's so much drive and want for purpose, but companies aren't supplying it. Let me see, Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. Best way for independent contractors to bring them in as employee. That's actually an interesting question. Best way to keep independent contractors happy. So that's interesting. So, I mean, I could definitely tie it into what I'm talking about with purpose. Like if your business has a very specific purpose, then there's a lot more than money that people get from it. There's a lot of other benefits. There's, you know, the emotional benefits, the community benefits. So when your company has a strong purpose, you can bring people on, and that's one. And it's like not only employees want to work with you, but outside contractors want to work with you also to forward your cause. So I think the best way to keep them happy is definitely finding common ground, finding ways that and causes or ideas you guys are both passionate about, and coming up with a partnership where you guys can work towards that goal together. I can only see part of your comment. It cuts out after the, but hope in the ... I'm thinking you're saying you hope soon you're going to be able to pay them, which is cool. So right now work out something that is mutually beneficial. Maybe they're interested in a cause, or they have a goal or a purpose that's near and dear to their heart. And maybe you guys can work out some sort of deal where you can help forward what they're passionate about. So that kind of ties into my next thought, which is a little bit of strategy about sharing your purpose and your values, is really communicating them. Having it on the forefront where you communicate it on all levels of your organization. Starting at like leadership. Oh, thanks. We should definitely chat. For sure. Yeah, so purpose can really starts at like this leadership level and filters down into management, employees, and then from the your employees are the ones that are interacting with everyone. They're interacting with your suppliers, they're interacting with your customers. So when values are communicated throughout your company, everyone's on the same page. It streamlines communication. Everyone knows exactly what the goal of your company is, what you're here to do, and then they're able to sell your products and services in a much more unique and in-depth way. I've had some of my clients tell me, well, if I pick very specific values, or if I pick a very specific purpose, I might like ostracize part of my potential clients, or like I might pigeonhole myself. And the truth is, actually setting a standard is the best thing you can do in business. Like being really clear about who you are and what you stand for actually creates a filtering script for all the bullshit. You know, you attract the exact right customers for you. You attract people that are passionate about what you're passionate about, which I'll dive into a little bit more tomorrow. But I want to bring that up now as it relates to employees, because customer experience is super important, and it's your employees that are delivering your customer experience. And right now, according to this Forbes article, like less than 50% of employees know what their company stands for or believe in what their company stands for, and so they're even less equipped to be able to deliver it. Like if your own employees don't know who you are and what you stand for, like how are your customers going to know? And that's super important moving forward. Customer experience It's funny, also kind of like a buzzword in marketing right now, but it's one of those trends that isn't going to go away. Like I was talking about yesterday with the advent of the internet and social media, customers see everything in real time. That customer experience is just getting more and more important. By 2020, a lot of the experts are saying customer experience is going to surpass price and product as your key brand differentiator. So having a purpose is one of those ways to engage with your customers in a really unique, authentic way that builds loyalty, trust, and really creates brand advocates. So I'm super excited for tomorrow's little webinar. It'll be fun. I like talking about customers and communication strategy. So yeah, tune in tomorrow at 7. It'll be fun. And then in terms, what also connects with your employees, why you need a purpose-based strategy is innovation. Harvard Business School recently did this study that straight out proves that when you have a purpose, you outperform, out-transform, and out-innovate all of the competition. They show that executives who treat purpose as a core driver of strategy and decision-making succeed in 53% of their innovation efforts. 53% of their innovation efforts, as opposed to only 19% success from companies that don't have a purpose. Like, that's almost 35% more success. I don't know who wouldn't want 35% more success. And it's all possible when you take a turn towards purpose. A great example of this is Pampers diapers. Back in the day, Pampers used to be marketed just as like product features. It was really about the functionality of the product, like keep your baby's butt dry. And Pampers, under PG&E, decided that they wanted to have more of an inspirational message. They wanted to have a higher aspiration. So they started asking themselves, like, what matters to our customers? What matters to the mothers who are purchasing our product? And what they found is mothers care about their baby's development. So with this in mind, they started transitioning their strategy from a product-based, functions and feature strategy into a purpose-based strategy where they focused on how they can help mothers worldwide forward their child's development physically, socially, and emotionally. And it's really interesting. Their formal global marketing officer said immediately people got inspired, imagination started going, and their agenda started to change. They started rethinking how they interacted with their customers. They started rethinking their products and their development cycles. They started putting programs into place, like their program with UNICEF, where when you buy a bag of Pampers, vaccines get donated across the world. They're creating this global community based on the purpose of childhood, like healthy and happy development. Whereas the other diaper companies were just like, oh, this is going to keep your baby's butt dry. So you can see this distinct competitive advantage. Switching from a products feature into a purpose feature is actually like really thinking about what your product represents. Like, what does it mean to your customers? And this has paid off crazily for them financially. Like, they doubled in size in 10 years. They became PG&E's first $8 billion brand, and they are one of the leaders in their market. Like, everyone's heard of Pampers, and everyone that I know like trusts in the brand, and they are able to communicate in this really authentic way. So like having a clear purpose gives your employees a clear direction when it comes to innovation. It gives them inspiration. It motivates people. It gives them ways to create new programs and products and features in a very meaningful way. So like these cute little gimmicks and like clever tactics in marketing actually turn into really meaningful interactions and messaging. Real experiences that your customers can connect with. And I kind of mentioned this earlier, like it really starts like leadership, like leaders down. It becomes when you decide to take on a purpose strategy, it can really shape your entire business. It's strategy, it's your business model, it's products and services. And what's great about this is it really makes decision making so much easier. I kind of alluded to this a little bit yesterday, but like when you've decided on a purpose, everything can run through that filter. It's like when something comes across your desk, you can literally ask yourself, does this serve our purpose? Does this forward our message? And you can look at all major decisions through that lens. There's some major companies that are purpose-based and using it to make their decisions, like Southwest Airlines. I think it was like they started back in the 80s and like only 14% of Americans had ever flown. And they wanted to change that. And they realized a lot of it came from pricing. People couldn't afford to fly. So they decided their purpose as a company was to spread the freedom of flying, to kind of democratize flying. And so now when they make their decision making, everything gets run past the core purpose of, does this keep our costs low? Can we keep our fares low? And if it doesn't, then they can just disregard it because it doesn't fit in their purpose. And I think they're the only airline in the last 30, 35 years that just keeps posting profit. It doesn't matter what their competitors throw at them, whether the competitors are talking about different features of their product. Southwest can just tie into like, well, our purpose is to keep, airfare and keep flying free and make it affordable for everyone. And that's what customers are connecting with and keeps driving it home. Another company is BMW. BMW's purpose is to enable people to experience the joy of driving. So if they're working on a new technology and it doesn't add to that experience, to that user experience, then they don't waste money on it. They don't have to waste time, money, or any of that. So that's kind of in the innovation field, but you can also use purpose to make like HR decisions. Who can forward your business toward this purpose? You can use it to assess your performance, your daily to-do list. Like when you're prioritizing everything, run it past, does this forward our purpose? And then definitely in promotions and marketing, which I'm going to dive into a lot tomorrow, which I'm excited about. That's like the part that gets me all excited, is the promotions, marketing, and like customer experience. So definitely tune in tomorrow for that one. So that's kind of the end of what I got. It's like purpose marketing it's just not a ploy. It's really authentic and it's true to the company. It's like the heart and soul of the company. And that's what people are looking for. I talked about today how employees, they're wanting to work for companies that are serving bigger purposes, and how millennials, who are going to now make up the majority of our workforce, they're demanding it. I talked a little about yesterday how consumers are demanding it. So if you're an entrepreneur or you have a small business, purpose and finding your values is definitely something you guys should look into. Let me check my comments, see if we got any questions. Yeah, if you guys have questions, like throw them in below or DM me. I love answering questions. Put me on the spot. It'll be fun. Oh, Vito, thank you. Google is the keeper forwarding your message on the site. Well, I mean, it's interesting with Google because you do the AdWords and everything, and the SEM and the SEO, it gets pretty complicated. But there are definitely ways that you can get your message out there. And social media, just like this, is what I've been advising all my clients to do, because you can connect directly person to person and share like what's on your heart. Like, I'm so passionate about bringing purpose into businesses and really changing the way we do business, changing the way we interact with the world, changing it from like a profit bottom line to a people bottom line. And that's what social media lets us do. It's super cool. And you have inherent features. You wish you had more time to market. Well, that's what's interesting about creating a purpose, is it kind of does marketing for you. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. Definitely tune in. Because what I found is when you have a strong purpose that people connect to, they do a lot of the marketing for you. Like, word of mouth is a really powerful thing. And people are, it's so cool how the internet has totally revolutionized everything we do. People are checking reviews before they buy. They're talking to their friends. They're checking out online. So I'd be curious to see like what kind of products you have and what you've been doing to market them, because there's definitely a lot of opportunity. So what I do for clients a lot of times is I help them really figure out their company's story and their values and their purpose, like really figuring out what their purpose is, and then being able to communicate that throughout their organization to their different shareholders, investors, and customers. So it really depends on the company I'm working with. Sometimes I'm working with clients on social media campaigns, product placement, and how to get the word out there. And then sometimes companies are in different places. So I'm working with them on the stories and getting the foundations. So it kind of depends. Sound expensive? No, not so much. I will be one day. Get your orders in soon. Alright guys, so if there aren't any more questions, I am going to sign off. Gonna go enjoy what looks like to be a beautiful sunset up on the roof. And DM me if you, like Vito, DM me if you're interested. We can definitely talk and exchange some ideas. And share, like this video. If you guys are interested, you can check out my website. I have a resources section where I'm posting all these stats and figures. Sign up for the email list and you'll get all my fun, juicy stuff. Alright guys, I hope you have a great night. Love you guys. Bye.